Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Aquarius December 2019 horoscope forecast, part 1 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is as far as December goes, the Sun will be in Sagittarius from the 1st until the 22nd. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on goals, aspirations, one's future, groups, clubs, organizations, social networking, stepchildren if applicable. And given that this is a Sagittarius energy, this could be done with a lot of expansive optimism, a lot of exuberance, enthusiasm, ebullience, done with a lot of philanthropy as well, and done with a lot of positivity, a lot of positive energy at this time. In some cases, this could be a very strong focus on Sagittarius type goals and aspirations such as philosophy, religion, higher education, the law, sports, anything that could be Sagittarius related, and also focus on expanding one's perhaps circle of friends, acquaintances, groups, clubs, organizations at this time. It could also shine the light, so to speak, on a Sagittarius friend or an acquaintance. It could be a Sagittarius Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Sagittarius characteristics. Well, next thing up. Well, as far as December goes, the Sun will be in Capricorn from the 22nd until the 31st. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on restrictions, limitations, those less fortunate than yourself, hidden adversaries, secret sorrows, self-undoing, an aunt, an uncle, some isolated cases. It could be mental illness. And given that this is Capricorn energy, this may be done with a lot of serious energy, a lot of conventionality, a very orthodox matter, but also done with a lot of structure and discipline at this time, a lot of premeditation and a lot of planning. Now, in some isolated cases, I mean, this could shine the light, so to speak, on a Capricorn hidden adversary. It could be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Capricorn traits. Now, in some cases, too, it could also be about an eye limitation, because the Sun in astrology rules either the left or the right eye, depending on gender. And it could be one of a serious nature, since we're talking about Capricorn energy. Sometimes it could just be due to an older age if you are an older person, because as we know, as you get older, a lot of times you are going to have certain things, bodily things that are connected physically, then it deteriorates. So it could be something connected with that as well, but also perhaps a strong focus on consistency in terms of your private life and matters in solitude and seclusion, and doing things for those less fortunate than yourself, such as the impoverished, the oppressed, the homeless, and the hungry. Next thing up. There will be a full moon in Gemini on December 12th, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, in some cases, this could simply be about the completion, culmination, or ending of a relationship you may have had with a lover at this time. It could be could be with a Gemini Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or one that embodies Gemini traits, or the ending even of a connection with a child. That could be a Gemini Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or embodying those characteristics at this time. Now, when you're talking about full moons in astrology, this could also, or in some cases, could be the end of a Gemini type hobby. Could be something connected with writing or journalism, doing or something that requires dexterity, such as it could be working on cars, auto mechanics, refrigeration mechanics, anything that could require the strong use of the hands, or any other communication type hobby. It could be doing something with computers or what have you, or again, as I stated before, something with writing. It could also be a time too when you're talking about full moons and astrology. It could be about revelations and unveilings. Now, in some cases, this could be about a revelation or unveiling of an overly mischievous, mercurial, vacillating, even dual-natured or two-faced. Could be a child. It could be somebody that you might have been in a romantic situation with, um, or even somebody that you might have shared something fun, amusing, and enjoyment with, some kind of hobby, person you might have shared some hobby with. Now, also, when you're talking about full moons in astrology, it could be about where one becomes rather it could be, you're talking about where one can become tired or exasperated or full of something. It could be a time where one becomes tired, exasperated, or full, perhaps of an overly superficial um, love relationship or a connection with a child, or it could be a time where maybe you were involved in some investment that was overly unpredictable, and it was something which had a lot of change, a lot of fluctuation at this time, or something that didn't really give you that that stability basically, or something where maybe somebody, I mean, you're talking about the fifth house of investments and speculation, something that was more about people just all talk and really no action, somebody that might have promised you a lot through a lot of words, a lot of verbosity, and a lot of really just talking about it more than actually really doing something, as far as that would go, as far as something of an investment, such as something that somebody may have promised you, that that was gonna be a good good investment for you, but they were gonna give you something that was connected with uh, some kind of some kind of trying to get you to talking about and a good idea that they were going to have for you to invest in, but it never panned out, or it was all talk and no action. Basically, that's pretty much what I'm saying. So anyway, the next thing up is there will be a new moon solar eclipse in Capricorn on December 26th. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized in high. Now we're talking about um, new moons in astrology, and solar eclipses in astrology. As far as solar eclipses go, I see them as, I mean, they're basically like a new moon, but they're more amplified and intensified, and can have more significant, longer sustained impact on the person. It could have life altering implications in some cases. Now, I see them as also something that can be very serendipitous, since we're talking about solar eclipse Capricorn and the 12th house. As an example could be, well, for one thing, it could be like a Capricorn, like thing of connected with hospitalization, could lead to something connected with a career in the 12th 12th house type career. Since we're talking about Capricorn energy, it could be something like being hospitalized for something with the knees, the bones, the joints, or the hamstrings. And the 12th house is the house of hospitalization. But what could happen is somebody, say, is hospitalized over something Capricorn related. Then they go to the hospital. They wind up talking to somebody there, and it might lead to some kind of maybe some kind of career that's related to helping those with some kind of limitations or restrictions, or maybe it inspires you to do that, but because you might be seeing other sickly, debilitated people and wanting to help those that are in a limiting situation. Another example could be as far as something serendipitous with this energy. Now let's take another example. Let's say, for example, some that's very isolated, remote, but anyway, that somebody, there's a photograph of you online, and it's slanderous, and it has some negative, derogatory things connected with it, and it seems very negative. I mean, we're talking about, again, Capricorn energy connected with reputation, and then you have the 12th house of photography. So let's use using that as an example. Now, let's say something like this happens, but yet somebody makes a discovery and says, you know what, well, I really like this picture of this person. And it could lead to something where it could lead to some kind of career in connection with photography, such as somebody maybe wanting to photograph you as an example. Now, that is very isolated, I'm saying. And remember that Capricorn energies could be connected with the career. 12th house is the house of photography. So you understand what I'm saying, but this could simply be about a very important start, um, something career related that's connected with the 12th house, such as photography or chemistry or something with special effects, illusion and metaphysical, which includes astrology, spirituality. It could be a life altering um, turning point for you, or even a point where you just begin to really, at this time, I could be doing something Capricorn related in solitude or seclusion. It could be doing some work with the government or some kind of business you may embark on, or even at this time too, it could even be rekindling a connection with an aunt or an uncle. That could be a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Capricorn traits. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, so those are some ways that this could manifest and pan out at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Mercury will be in Scorpio as far as December goes, from the 1st until the 9th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Oh, I want to get back. Anyway, I'm sorry. So, well, some ways this could manifest and pan out. This could be about having very incisive, probing, provocative conversations with the dominant parent, which is often the father, people prominent in your career, people in positions of authority. It could also be about talking about transforming your career at this time, in your public image, your reputation, and also doing things in terms of improving perhaps your stature in life, your standing in the community. Now, some cases too, remember, Mercury can also be about siblings. This could be about Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Scorpio characteristics. Now, excuse me, I'm sorry, this could be a time too where these people might figure prominently in your stature in life, your career related matters, attaining and career ambitions, um, maybe even a position of authority, your public image, your reputation. And given that, I mean, a lot of this, whether they're actually beneficial to your detriment, a lot of that could be predicated and dependent on aspects that are made to points in your chart. If it makes, let's say, a sexstar trine to your natal Jupiter, they could be rather auspicious as far as that goes, but these 10th house matters. But let's say an adverse aspect to your natal Saturn, they might be causing some loss and some sorrow, and maybe even dejection and sadness in these areas, especially perhaps in matters with your public image, your reputation. Next thing up. Well, Mercury will be in Sagittarius as far as December goes, from the 9th until the 29th. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. You might find yourself having a lot of philosophical, very blunt, even tactless discussions with friends, acquaintances, even stepchildren if applicable, and also speaking about really the veritable truth in your mind anyway with these people as well. It could also be about communications regarding Sagittarius goals and aspirations like philosophy, religion, higher education, sports, translation, learning a foreign language, doing something connected with exploration and adventure, publishing. And again, Mercury can also be about siblings. This could be about Sagittarius, sun, moon, or ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Sagittarius traits that might figure more prominently in your future, your goals, your aspirations, matters with groups, clubs, organizations, and really even matters with stepchildren, again, whether they're more to your detriment or beneficial. A lot of that could be predicated and dependent on aspects that are made to points in your chart. Now, Next thing up, well, Mercury will be in Capricorn as far as December goes, from the 29th until the 31st. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, this will be about some cases, a lot of conversations regarding limitations and restrictions, and guard against becoming overly despondent or melancholy at this time. And it could really be tied into your just secret sorrows and thinking very negatively about things. And you're talking about the house of secret sorrows. It's not really, the best thing, could be going on right now for you, Aquarius. But it could also be a time where you might where your thinking is really very disciplined in regards to hidden adversaries, people that might be that are impersonating themselves as friends where they're really enemies. It might be a time where you might be thinking about just showing some restraint and letting things just basically happen. Those people that are frauds, that are not your friends, that are really your enemies, let them trip themselves up, and something will happen which will expose themselves, so to speak, rather than you trying to take action in those matters. Now, it could also be a time where you might be communicating regarding Capricorn type limitations, such as matters with your career or with some kind of responsibilities, or and maybe in matters with some kind of with discipline or consistency, anything that could be Capricorn related. Now, and again, Mercury can also be about siblings. This could be about Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Capricorn characteristics that might figure more prominently: your secret sorrows, self-undoing, um, limitations, restrictions, matters with an aunt or an uncle, and whether they're really your solitude, seclusion, your private life, and whether they're more beneficial to your detriment. A lot of that, of course, could be predicated independent on aspects that are made to points in your chart. Last but not least, Venus, excuse me, Venus will be in Capricorn as far as December goes, from the 1st until the 20th. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, one way this can manifest, you might be dealing with certain financial limitations. It could be having to due to spending perhaps on something business or career related, or something connected with politics, or anything Capricorn related. Could be something on some kind of dental work. It could be a time too, if you're unattached at this time, Aquarius, you may connect with a Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Capricorn characteristics. It could be for a clandestine affair, something that you're kind of doing, a situation behind the scenes that you're not really, maybe you might be concealing or not telling too many people about. Could also be a time too where you might have a little bit more difficulty in expressing sentiments at this time, given that this is 12th house energy. And it could be a time too where even a lover, and again, it could be a Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or one that embodies those characteristics, or somebody, or a close friendship. It might be somebody that might actually be a hidden adversary at this time. So those are some ways this could manifest and pan out. It could also be about making money doing something Capricorn related in some kind of solitude or seclusion. It could be something with accounting or information technology, or some kind of business, some kind of government work you might be doing covertly. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Aquarius December 2019 horoscope forecast, part 1 of 2. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.